The following underwater video is a result of a leak investigation at Ortega Reservoir for Montecito Water District. Date of the inspection is November the 15th, year 2021. The inspector and narrator is Dan Gross of DiveCorp. This video will attempt to show the results of 24 leaks that were discovered, some in each cell. There's a north-south dividing wall making the cells east and west. Here is leak number 1. This is in the west cell near the dividing wall. So that would be the south side. And here we see water flowing relatively aggressively, and it will be up to you to determine what this flow represents. As far as this inspector is concerned, it would be estimated at least a half a gallon a minute, maybe more. Along this one joint there are 3 short cuts. They're about an inch and a half long, and this one shows similar aggressive strength on pulling in the dye. Again, probably in the neighborhood of a half a gallon a minute. And as far as the video is concerned, due to the large size of the tank, we will not be going in order. We're going to try to make the shortest swim distance. And here is number 3. This one has a cut in the center, which is a little unusual. Most of them are at one side or the other, but again, we have an aggressive flow, and easily estimated by this inspector as a half gallon a minute, maybe a gallon a minute. It takes it about as fast as it can come out of the bottle. So from here, I believe we'll go to number 7. Number 7 is also on the west side, but more in the southwest corner. And here you can see the joint material has turned and torn away from the edge. And it's got a fair draw. And about a half to a gallon a minute. And from number 7, we'll swim north, staying on the west side. Along the way, we're going to show you some examples where the joint material has pulled away from the concrete edge and has popped up. There are many areas like this, at least an estimated 100 feet of this condition. And what we're aiming to show is that this inspector did not detect any notable leakage at these sites. The dye is not pulled in at any of the cases. There are 2 or maybe 3 that have lifted joint material and do leak, but they have different characteristics slightly. Here is a date marked 3/7/13, and this also has edge lifting with no movement of the dye. Another example of edge lifting. And this is the location of the cutout. A large section of concrete was cut out to examine the makeup and if there was water stop. This inspector is not aware of the results of this test. However, at this time the repairs appear to be in good condition and no leakage is seen at these sites. Another example where a large length has turned, detached from the concrete. No movement of the dye can be found. And again, there are numerous locations where this is seen. Another example. Try to push some sediment in, and no movement is evident. This is leak number 6. It is near column 5. And here the joint has pulled away from the concrete, and we have notable flow, at least a gallon a minute, if not more. It takes as much as can come out of the bottle. Here we're just trying to show that it pulls it down. And from here we'll travel to number 5. Number 5 is on the is on the west side, and it's near the end of the tank on the north side. And this has the unusual characteristic of just having like a small drilled hole, and the flow here is very aggressive, and this inspector suspects it's more than a gallon a minute. But you can see here from how far away it'll suck the dye in. Again, we're on the north end of the west slope, and this is right near the toe of the slope. And it looks like possibly a clearly drilled hole. Maybe it was never patched. There is one other hole that was found, actually it's number 24, somewhat similar to that. Here we're just trying to show it does aggressively pull in the dye. Here is number 4. This is very close to the end of the pipe that runs north-south on the west side. And here we can see the joint material has pulled away from the edge. And flow here is very aggressive, in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 gallons a minute possibly. Just demonstrating the aggressive flow here seen at this cut. It's about 3 to 4 inches long. This is number 14. Number 13 will actually be towards the end of this video. And here is one of the exceptions where the joint material has lifted up and it is leaking. And there is a wide gap here, so it's sucking significant amounts of water. Again, here we guess easily a gallon a minute, if not more. And this, which is typical of all the other areas which have lifted, does not take the dye, only this one section here. Again, we're out of order, sorry about that, but this is number 14. And this is on the east side near column 7. here we have number 8. There's a spider stuck in the hole. And this is right next to the dividing wall on the east side, south end. It's the very first joint by the piping. And from here we'll go through several more that are all at the toe of the slope on the south end, east side. And this is actually going to be called number 20. It's a slight leak here, probably a quarter of a gallon a minute, but it's a quarter of a gallon a minute at several sites. Now we're going to have 9, 10, 11, and 12. These are pretty close together, and here we have notable tearing of the joint from the side. So this is number 9. East side, we're traveling towards the southeast corner, and here we have pretty good flow. This inspector would suspect it's easily a gallon a minute, if not somewhat more. Now we go to 10, similar situation. It's a long detachment of the joint from the side. This is about 8 inches long. Again, a couple of gallons a minute here. It's just on the one side. Now we're traveling towards number 11. Again, a side tear, one side. This would be estimated at about a half a gallon a minute. Moving on to 12. Relatively aggressive here. And after here, we will cross an area that does not have caulking. It's the old connection. And we'll move to the area that has new caulking. And this is number 18, unfortunately out of line, but there's one spot here in the center. There you can see it coming in. It's relatively weak. It's about a quarter of a gallon a minute. And now we'll move on to 15, 16. Also side tears in the joint material. There's some debris stuck to it. Relatively aggressive. Moving to 16. This is another hole appearing in the joint. It's not considered a tear. Water flow is very aggressive and comes out as fast as it can come out of the bottle. And this is rated as about a gallon a minute. Number 17 is on the east side, near the corner. And here we see tearing of the joint material on the side. Flow is relatively aggressive, about a gallon a minute probably. So that was 17. We did already 18. And we'll be going towards 19. This is also in the joint. It's not as aggressive. Here you can see a little tear. And this is easily about a half a gallon a minute. And from here we'll go to number 13. And here the flow is aggressive. Estimate here is about a gallon a minute, maybe more. Takes as much as will come out of the bottle. And then from here we'll cross the tank and go to the back. And right now we're in the west side, in the southwest corner, near the hardware on the slope. And you're looking towards the south. You're on the north side of the big box where the plumbing comes out. And there'll be 3 areas of leakage here. So this will be 21. That's supposed to say 21. And here we have 22. This is a relatively aggressive leak. There's 3 slits here. It's about a gallon plus a minute. This is an example of a long section of joint material. This is at the toe of the slope on the west side in the west cell. It's about 15 feet where the material has delaminated. No leakage is seen here. And we'll come back for 23. And this is 23 in the corner by the butterfly valve. And water flow here is relatively aggressive. And this is the last one, number 24. It's underneath the pipe. It's a little difficult to put the camera and the die together. However, we're just trying to show that there's water flow here. And I'd like to thank you for choosing DiveCore in this project. If you have any questions, please contact Dan Gross of DiveCore, either phone number, email address as shown. Thank you again and have a good day.